Hi, in this video, we'll be learning how to write a recipe with Recipe Creator. More specifically, we'll be focusing on the advanced settings within columns. The advanced settings allow you to choose selectors manually and also manually type in more advanced selectors. We have a list of these advanced selectors on our Recipe Creator page at the bottom. So if you go to our help and then go to Recipe Creator and then scroll down, you'll see this table that has a lot of great information we recommend you reviewing. And in this video, I'll be selecting a few of these to work on, and I'll just kind of generally work through a few different scenarios to show you how you can manually type different selectors. So that said, let's go ahead and get started. So I'll click Advanced Settings, and to start, we'll just click the Advanced Finder, and then let's pretend we want to capture the person's name. So under normal scenarios, you would essentially do hover, and then you'd hit Shift, and then you'd begin to kind of choose from different selectors that are recommended within Recipe Creator. However, something I want to focus on is the fact that you can actually use any of the HTML. So Recipe Creator will just recommend different HTML elements, classes, and IDs. But you can actually use anything. So if we click kind of towards the bottom, View Selected HTML, you'll see that we have all of the HTML from our selected area here. So as you can see, we currently have a class called H4, which is right here as well. And then below that, inside of it is an element called an A. And then we have a class called headline. So this is actually, so if I refocus and hit Shift, you'll see that we are recommending this headline here is the same class as here. So you could actually use, like I said, anything from the HTML. The only way you have to change it is you have to put square brackets around it. So if you can see, I'll copy this. And if I paste it into here, and I also put square brackets around it, it captures the information just as if we were to select the headline. So the reason why this is useful is because you may find other items that aren't suggested. So for example, if we go to the image and I hover and hit Shift, you'll see that we have some classes and some elements, but down here there is also an alt equals person. So if we were to pretend that these options up here did not exist, I could go into the HTML, I could find this alt person, copy it, and then come down here and put it in the square brackets, and then paste. You'll see that we now have data miner capturing the image. So I'm now able to use pretty much anything in the HTML as a selector, so you're not just limited to the suggested classes or elements. Cool, so that is one useful tip. Another one is you can actually, as we just saw, you can manually type in here. You can also combine selectors. So let's pretend that if we were going over to clearance and we select that, but then we realize we also want to capture the industry as well. So what you can actually do is combine selectors or put multiple selectors in one input. You just have to separate them with a comma. So what I'll do is I'll copy this, the clearance, and then I'll go back to industry, hover and Shift, select that class. So now I'm capturing the industry, but if I were to type into the input and do a comma, and then paste the selector I just copied, so now we're capturing the industry and the clearance all in one. So if I hit confirm, you'll see we have both of that data now available. One other thing you can use is rather than combining selectors, you can actually use a selector as an anchor and then kind of move down move through the HTML with a plus symbol. Meaning, so if I'm on the industry, actually let's do clearance. So if I do hover and hit Shift, and I capture the clearance, but let's pretend I want to capture the actual experience. But experience doesn't have any useful selectors. So what I could do is I can capture the clearance and then manually type and do a space and then a plus symbol, and that will actually shift to the next element over, which is the experience. You can actually use multiple pluses to continue this process. So as you can see, we now are on the industry. Great. So that is the plus. It's very useful actually for the navigation as well. We'll have a video that covers that, but you can essentially use a plus to capture the next page over. One other thing I want to show is the contains. which is again in this table here. It is towards the middle here. So essentially what we can use with the contains is we can tell Dataminr to find a piece of data by specifically looking for a piece of text that's on the page. So let's pretend we want to capture this bio here. So I hover and hit shift, and let's pretend that there's no class here, but just the element. So if I choose that, you'll see that we're capturing multiple elements now, which is obviously not ideal. You could use the sibling arrows, but that is pretty risky because the bio is at the very end, and since everything's based on position, if anything were to change between the start and the bio, it could shift the focus, or sorry, shift the position of different elements. So then your output's kind of just no longer as organized and it's not capturing correctly. So pretty much if you ever have to use the sibling more than once or twice, you might want to think of an alternative way. And this is an alternative. So we can capture the data based on the word bio rather than just the position. So the way you do that is, again, you select the P that, or the element that captures multiple elements, and then we're going to be more specific, and we'll type in the input box. We'll do a colon, which is the 2 vertical dots, then the word contains, and then open parenthesis and closing parenthesis. And at this point, we're now going to just type the word bio as we see it on the page. Cool. So now we're essentially telling Dataminr to look for a P element, but only the one that contains the word bio. And at that point, it gets us the bio. So we can hit confirm, double check our work, and yep, that looks good. So one other thing I want to show you is you can actually also build selectors that start out at a parent level and then work their way back down to the actual individual element. So if I do add new column, advanced settings, and let's say we want to capture this word software. So if I hover and hit shift, and as you can see, there's only a class called strong, or sorry, only an element called strong. So if I choose that, you'll see that it's capturing multiple items now, which is not ideal. And as we just kind of recommended, the siblings can be risky if things were to change on the page. So an alternative would be to keep this strong in mind, but we'll actually move up to the next parent level, which is industry. So we are now definitely capturing the industry section. But if I hit confirm and we double check, you'll see that it also has the word industry, which is not ideal. So if you want, we can, as we remembered, the element is actually a strong for the word software. So we can actually type that in at the bottom. So industry space strong. So now we're essentially telling Dataminr, look for the class industry, but then go one level deeper to the strong element and give me just that data, which is the individual word. And as you can see, we now have just the word software in the other industries. So these different types of selectors can actually be used in many different ways. You can do a combination of what we worked on, and you can always just obviously keep it simple with just a single class. So the fact that a recipe can be written many different ways is what makes it very challenging, but also very fun. So we recommend taking some time to review the table here. It has a lot of different pieces you can learn about. I think that's pretty much all we'll cover for this video. We might have a few more videos down the road that cover this stuff. But if you also have any questions, feel free to reach out. Our email is support@dataminr.io. And I hope this video is helpful, and thanks for watching. All right, bye.